feeling so ready today. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Hey, everybody. I'm your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It's the interview series that's been coming to you for 10 years now. Holy smokes, we have been bringing you profound professionals from all over the beautiful planet. They improve your personal life. They help you grow your business. They help you be the best version of you so that you can begin creating legacy now that lasts for hundreds of years to come, both inspirationally as well as generational wealth. Today, we have two amazing gentlemen, and I want you to know I totally didn't plan this. Like, I have a system that allows the universe to reach in and say, "Hey, this is what's happening today." So today I have David Weale. He is a catalyst for love. And hello, David. How you doing today?
Hello, wonderful. Thank you for having me.
You feeling all the love? All right. We're hoping you're feeling all the love. Give him some love out there. We want to see some hearts. We want to thank you guys for watching and joining us. And just trust me, this one's going to be a fun one. And we also have, okay, all right. Let's tell it like it is. There are thousands of experts out there who can teach you how to manage your anger, but there are maybe five, and I'm getting this from the top expert. This is where the information is coming from. Maybe five people alive today who can teach you how to eliminate it for good. And I got him here, right here. That's right. I have him right here for you. And that's Dr. Mort. So he's one of them. So welcome, Dr. Mort.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, guys, are you ready for this crazy ride? Here we go. I want to know. All right, you know what, Dr. Moore, I adore you, and if you haven't seen his last show with us, check it out. But I got to know how David is the catalyst for love. I need to know his journey story. I need to know how you got there. Give us a little bit of your journey and your story, and what kind of clients do you work with who are looking for a love catalyst?
Thank you. Great question. I think, my journey it's been a huge adventure in getting to know myself and getting to love myself. I think first and
Mm.
foremost, a lot of my journey has been about facing my fears. It's been about just continuing to grow and evolve and become the best version of me that I can be. And as soon as I started on that path, it sparked this passion for sharing that with other people. And if I go way back, it started in professional skiing. My whole 20s, I lived in Whistler, BC, and I coach skiing. I help people face their fears and jump off cliffs and learn new tricks, learn how to do backflips and all that kind of stuff,
Oh my God.
as well as filming and competing myself, until I actually broke my neck in a mountain biking accident when I was 29. And that was where I really opened more to mindfulness and meditation and healing and plant medicine and all these things that are now such a big part of my life. And the out of that, as I kept growing and evolving and learning more about myself, so much of who we are and the traumas that we go through, they happen in relationship with other people. They happen through like romantic relationships, but also friendships, our relationships with our families, all these things. And as I started studying that more and more and like growing myself in that realm, it became a real passion of mine. This whole idea of creating more love in the world and creating more love in my world. Selfishly at the beginning, like trying to be the best partner that I could, learn about relationships, learn about this idea of seeing relationship as a vehicle for connection with spirit as well.
Mhm.
Because the people that we call in as partners, they mirror all of the things that we don't like about ourselves. So
It's
again,
true.
it's been this journey for me of just accepting more and more about myself and learning more and more about myself.
So,
And the more that I do, the more it keeps evolving. So
so what kind of
and
customers come to you? Are they people that feel lost? Because I mean, I don't think someone walks in, to the local convenience store and says, I'm feeling like I don't love myself. I'm fresh out of love. Could you do something about that? So, like, when do they raise their hand, and what kind of customers are coming to you? Are they feeling frustrated or looking for clarity in life? Like, what's something that's happening with them that they say, I need the David in my life?
Hmm. Most people that I work with are entrepreneurs and they've hit a point where they've achieved a lot of success, but either their relationships are suffering, their health is suffering, like they don't have the happiness that they want.
Oh, they're
They're like, I
still not
did all the things, I made all the
happy.
money, but I'm still unhappy. Like, what's going on inside that's not like allowing, I thought if I did all the things, I would be happy, I would feel fulfilled, all these things. And so that's where it usually comes down to, they've sacrificed themselves. They've created a model for their life that's extractive of themselves, essentially. So, working with kind of a regenerative lens, I help them restructure their life, heal the traumas that got them there, and then create a new pattern for their life that actually helps them thrive.
All right.
And a lot of that is, again, relationship with self, relationship with everyone else in their life, and just beliefs that it has to be that way as well. Most people that sacrifice themselves to achieve goals believe that there's no other way. But
so are you working with them one-on-one? Are you working them in group coaching? Are you working with them or is it an online course? Is it, what is it that they're doing when they work with you?
I do a lot of one-on-one, and I'm also just launching a community right now, so I can have this accessible to more people, and do some like group coaching, but like drop-in group coaching, kind of weekly check-ins. They can access to me for a lower price point because my one-on-ones not cheap.
Right.
But
It's an investment.
I'm trying to do exactly more an investment in ourselves, obviously, but I want to make it more accessible to more people, as well as just like taking a lot of the things that I'm saying over and over again and turning them into self-study stuff as well. So, but a lot of it's one-on-one, because a lot of my work goes very deep into like subconscious beliefs and reprogramming how our minds work and stuff. So,
and then that's all very much a journey. I love that. So where's the best place for them to find you to get the first step into your world with either a discovery call or an email, or where's their next step to go? What, you want to share your website, or how is the best way for them to find you to take the first step in your space?
The best place is just to go to the school community, because everything is going to be hosted there. All my courses are there. Community is there. I see everyone that comes in still, so I can.
How do they find it?
We
what's it called?
Magic Makers is the name of the community. So we can share that in the. I'm sure you'll have links that go out with this. That's the community.
Magic Makers in school. I just need to search that. That should come up right in school if you put in Magic Makers.
Totally. Because we all deserve to make more magic in our lives. And
that's right.
A lot of that for me comes down to that spiritual connection as well. Like understanding how all that works so that we can actually create what we want and just let go of the things that aren't helping us, that are getting in the way of us creating that, essentially.
That's true. We are creators, and life is magical. Speaking of magical, it's even more magical when you eliminate anger from, I guess I am a believer, Dr. Mort, of, justified anger, and anger having its place, its use, every emotion having a value of some point. So talk to us about and thank you, David, for sharing. We will be back to you for a tip, so don't you worry. But thank you for, I'd like to hear more about your journey through this and your perspective, because, I definitely do feel all emotions have some level of value, and then there's a healthy way to give them honor for the moment and then work through them in some way. But it sounds like there might be a different approach from your standpoint. So share with us about how you came to this journey of eliminating anger for good.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree that all emotions have value and all emotions should be accepted. And but the problem, I make a distinction between harmful anger or unwanted anger and anger that may be useful for a purpose. And I think there's both. We can experience both kinds. In my experience, for over 40 years working on myself and working with other people, I would say about 85% of the time when we get angry, particularly if it's reactive, it may cause a problem. It's not going to be good anger or great anger most of the time. And that's the kind that most of us would like to get rid of if we could, but we don't believe that it's possible, and we don't know how to do it, which is where I was when in my 20s and 30s. After going through medical school, setting up my practice, I started having a lot of anger, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't control it. And it was very demoralizing because I was used to helping people with their problems and I was good at it. But I couldn't help myself with my
Mm,
anger problems. Every relationship I had with a woman failed, one right after another. I
mm,
was literally a serial relationship killer with my anger problems, and it was very frustrating. And I like David's point of David's theme of getting going deeper and deeper to understand yourself and know yourself, because I realized that all this training I had, all the medical school I had, they taught me a lot about uh, hearts and livers and spleens and kidneys and stuff like that. But they don't teach you a lot about human beings. But then
mm,
they just throw you out into the world when you graduate, and all of a sudden you're taking care of other human beings, and you realize, my God, I have no idea what a human being is or how they function or what's going on with them. I can medically understand what's going on, but spiritually, emotionally, psychosocial wise, there's a lot of gaps in my knowledge, and that I was really intensely aware of that, because the gaps were there for me, where I couldn't understand my emotions, I couldn't control my emotions, and that my journey started when I decided I've got to have a deeper understanding of these things. And I started doing personal development work, and I
mm.
started doing lots of different things, exposing myself to lots of kind of leading edge thinkers and alternative thinkers and things like that. Eventually, after a couple of years of that, I finally figured out, some things about emotions that I was never taught. In fact, I even went into therapy. Our medical school offered free therapy sessions for any medical student who wanted. I took advantage of that. I figured I could, well, boy, here's my chance to deal with my anger.
I have to stop you because I want to congratulate you for making those choices and taking those steps, because so many people who are angry just decide it's the rest of the world that is causing the problem. And it's so easy to be angry and say, well, this wouldn't be if, all
Well,
the.
it's interesting. It's interesting because I had an advantage because
Mhm,
in that regard, because when you're a doctor and I inherited a practice from another doctor who retired.
mhm,
So I'm in my late 20s, and now I'm starting to take care of a whole group of people who are in their 60s and 70s. And every day I was seeing 20, 30 patients. And as a doctor, you can very easily tell which people are on the angry side and which people are not on the angry side. And you get to see what happened to them in their life and what their health situation is, and
mm,
how many times they've been divorced and how many times they've been addicted to drugs. And you see this
mm.
pattern that becomes like in your face every day. And it's like bad
Oh.
things happen to angry people.
Well,
And you're
and
sitting there
we're
and
we're
you're
we're
sitting
sending love out to all people. We're gonna say that, and we're not giving you legal, medical, or financial advice out
Yeah.
there. This
No,
is a
not
private.
all, not
Enjoy
all
it.
angry people have all those bad things happen, but in
I know.
a
I
higher
don't mean to
proportion,
say.
you see the experiment in front of you
Yes.
playing out. And I'm sitting there with my own anger as a young man and saying, "But I don't want to end up like this, in my own
Yeah.
life," which is what drove me into making the choice to make the commitment to do the personal development work, devote the time and the money and all that stuff, and spend the years studying and never not giving up and just keep pursuing. I didn't get the answers I wanted, keep going. And so those were all things that eventually I had this massive breakthrough about 40 years ago, where I said, "Holy cow! Now I see the missing puzzle pieces that
Mm.
I didn't see before, and that nobody's talking about." That was the other thing. It's like as soon as I made the discovery, I realized as a doctor, this is incredibly important for people's health and their well-being, and I've got to get this knowledge out there, because I don't see even most of the anger experts are not teaching what I had discovered about anger that enabled me to get rid of my own anger, which I never thought was possible, by the way. Shocked the hell out of me that I was able to do that. But once I did, I realized, oh my God, talk about magic. This is like magic to be able to do this.
But you had this advantage where you saw this pattern of this is where I could end up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I also often, and I'm not stereotyping everyone, but I've seen a pattern of it's been common from my experience and my perspective. So I can say this correctly because I don't want to get a comment that says, "Well, that wasn't a true statement." But that there's a fog where they're not even sure. Not everyone who's angry knows they're angry or knows
Yeah.
how to call out for help, or that needs help, or they always say, you know the path to recovery for any challenge that we have in life is, understanding that we have it is like the first step, like acknowledgement of its existence.
And being
So,
willing to admit that you have it and that it
yeah.
could be damaging. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so how are you, I mean, how are people coming to that? I mean, because those must be your clients, right? These
Yeah.
people who are suddenly the light comes on and they see it.
Well, usually the light doesn't come on for them. Somebody in their life turns the light on.
So you often get referred by someone in someone's life, but then how
Someone
does
in their
that,
life says, if you don't fix your anger problem, I'm out of here.
and people then,
Or maybe they've been, so if they're married, people are married or in relationships,
yeah.
oftentimes they get an ultimatum, and that wakes them up and says, okay, well, I got to do something. And then hopefully I catch them early enough. They haven't done too much damage yet.
And you found success with that when
Oh,
the other
yeah.
person says, you've got this issue, you need to go talk to Dr. Moore. Because I've
Oh.
often found that truly we can only change when it's our self-motivation that gets us there.
Well, usually they're motivated because they don't want to lose the relationship. They don't want to lose,
Well,
the partner. And the same thing on the other common thing is people get divorced, and often they get divorced because they didn't know how to deal with anger in their marriage, and then the divorce is a really anger generating process. So they get all this anger worked up about the process, and then when it's all done, they're left with all this lingering anger about the divorce and about the breakup of the relationship, and they carry that into their next relationship, and it's very poisonous. To have, having a good, having love, finding love after divorce. So those sometimes people recognize that, hey, I got to figure this out, or I'm just going to keep having this same thing happen over and over again.
So same question for you. Is it group coaching? Is it one-on-one? Is it a combination of all those things?
Currently, I'm just doing one-on-one, but what I do could be very easily done in a group setting if I have enough interest that people want to do it.
And their first step and way into you is a website and a discovery call? Is that?
Yeah, they can go to my website, docorman.com, DOCORMAN.com. By the way, I have no relationship to Susie Orman, so.
Well, I also know that, and I'm coming to you in a minute for a tip, David, a love tip, because you're the love catalyst. But recently I've struggled with a little bit of anger from loss. Grief can make you angry. And then I remember a day where I was walking with my small child and barreling down fiercely at us, this huge angry dog. And I literally reached my arm around her waist, lifted her in the air and anchored her onto my back, like her feet were in the air. And I built a fist and I went, I mean, I was like the most fierce bear. I mean, I didn't actually hit the animal. There was no animals hurt in this story. But it ran away because it was afraid.
Well, that's a good kind. That's a good kind of anger when you're defending yourself.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that was the anger that saved me.
Yes.
But I didn't even know where it came from. I mean, it all happened. I mean, it was like I was watching it happen in slow motion.
It's called mama bear anger.
I tell you what, I didn't even know I had that in me. But it's nice to know, because sometimes we're like, oh, if that kind of situation, I'd like to believe I'd behave this way, but you don't really know how you're going to react until wabamo, right? Something happens. All right, David, how about a love tip? We got to get a tip here. Or any comments on what Dr. Mort shared? You're welcome to comment.
I mean, I'm super curious to learn your process, given that we're in such similar lines of work, but that's not really a short question, I'm sure. But it ties in similarly. I've seen a lot of that in my work as well with, it's parts of people. I work a lot with parts work and helping people actually understand how our psyches work. And most people that are dealing with a lot of anger, they have parts of them that freak out and get really angry about something that, is usually quite addressable and able to be released. And as far as tying into a tip, that would be my biggest one is just to learn how our minds actually work. Like the most recent theory of mind that's out there is that we are a combination of parts, essentially, and that we're not just one mind, we're not just one personality, you're not just an angry person or an anxious person or a depressed person. You're a piece of spirit that has all these different parts on top of it that have all these traumas and wounds and things that are, all these pieces of you that are trying to protect you essentially and keep you safe and help you survive and want the best for you, but don't always go about it in a very good way. So the more we can actually understand that, it gives us a foundation to heal and to be more of our true selves that we're here to be. So that would be my biggest tip, is just
And
learn
now,
about this.
yeah. And now more than ever, I'm listening all the time to audiobooks. There's so much about the human brain and our mind and our personalities and so much of that. It's so our neural pathways and how to rebuild them and restructure them and how to recover from different trauma, or just even like you said, up level to the best version of ourselves. It doesn't always have to be something sad to recover from. But before I get Dr. Mort's tip, I will share a story that I think you will love, David. A really short one, because this is about you guys, not me. But my husband had been married 9 years and I was married 7, and both our spouses left us for other people. And I was in a very trauma-based relationship for the 7 years that I was married. And to the point where when he said thank you to me for the first time when we were dating, I melted into tears. And as I fell in love with him in our love courtship, I began a deeper love relationship with both God and myself. So I was falling back in love with myself and even deeper with my creator as I fell in love with this amazing man who I've been with for 27 years, who lights my soul up like a Christmas tree. And he promises me our energies have always been together and will always be together. So he'll always find me, he promises. And I thought you'd like that story, David.
That's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
The love catalyst had to know my love story. All right, Dr. Moore, give us a tip.
So I too believe in a parts theory of how understanding ourselves as human beings, and particularly with our brain. There's like 2 brains or 2 capacities in our brain. There's this automatic pilot, automatic reactive, conditioned, way things that our brain does.
Instinctual.
Yeah. And then there's the part of our brain that can sort of like rise above that and go like, wait a second, let me look at this. Let me decide if I want to go with that, or let me see if what my brain's telling me is true or not true. And we have that other aspect of our brain where we can deal with the reactivity and decide when it's good for us and when it's not good for us, or maybe leading us down a bad path or a mistaken path or something like that. So my first tip is there's a bunch of myths that we have about anger that keep us stuck and keep us from being able to eliminate anger. Say what?
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters, yeah. And the most important one is we've all been sort of conditioned to believe in this external causation theory of anger. It's like the things outside of us that happen, or the behaviors of other people, or the government, or this organization, or that organization, or the weather, or whatever. It's the things outside of us that cause our angry reactions. And it's understandable that we have that mistaken view because it fits with common sense. I mean, you see somebody do something that you don't like or offends you, you feel the anger immediately, and it's like one causes two. It just like that just looks like the way it is. The problem is there's other causes in our brain that are involved that are invisible. We don't see them, but they're there. And if you leave those causes out, you miss the whole action of where the anger is being created, because the anger is actually being created by our brain in how it's telling us to look at the events that are going on outside of us in very specific ways. If your brain teaches you to look at things in certain ways, then you get the emotion that goes along with those 3 stories that it gives you, or 3 lenses or filters that it gives you. And each emotion I've found, whether it's anger or any other emotion, they all have like 3 main storylines that your brain feeds you and convinces you are true. And when you believe that stuff, you get the emotion that goes along with that, like program, like it's a computer program in your brain that causes emotions. And we tend to forget that it's our brain that's making us emotional. It's not the behavior of other people. But if we blame other people, then we've lost all of our power, because real action's going on inside us. And that's the only place where you can really make anger disappear.
Okay, let's clarify what the tip is. I want to give someone an actionable, like there was a lot of explanation there, but let's give them an actual.
The
Right.
tip is you have to shift from blaming the outside world for your anger, not to blaming yourself, but to
Right.
realizing the anger isn't coming from where you think it's coming from.
Okay.
It's actually coming from your own brain, and you can learn how to understand what your brain is doing to make you
And
angry. So that,
rewrite those stories, right?
well,
Create,
first you have to know those stories your brain has written
right.
and is feeding
Identify the
you,
current ones and
and
rewrite.
then you can question the validity of them,
Mm,
and you can see where there are holes in the stories, where context is left out, where the brain gets it wrong or
mhm,
distorts it or does whatever the brain does, makes up stuff,
mhm,
whatever. You can figure that out once you know the formula, once you know the song sheet,
mhm.
how the brain creates the different emotions. Now you've got some power in the matter that you didn't have before.
All
Now
right.
you can use that other part of your brain to step in and go like, well, is this true? Is this story true? Is this story true? Is this story true? And when you do that, what you'll find, particularly with anger, I know it surprised me when I started doing it. A lot of times, one of those three stories is not completely true, and
Mm.
sometimes two of them, and sometimes all three of them are not
Yeah,
true.
I think there's many of the stories that are running in our subconscious
Yeah,
need adjusting based on what we learned as or witnessed or experienced as children in our families and society and the culture, because it's changed so much,
yeah.
from when I was a child to what even society believes now is
Just
acceptable.
just just
So,
to go back to your dog story, if you were bitten by a dog when you were 3 years old and you were traumatized by that, your brain's going to create a story that dogs are dangerous. And you're going to walk around and a dog's going to come in your vicinity and you're going to go, oh, something bad's going to happen. When another person's standing right next to you and says, oh, look at that cute little dog, and they go over and they pet it and they all kind of
I
stuff.
was 4 years old, and my parents were dog sitting for this small, fluffy little yippity yappity puppy. I picked it up and hugged it because I didn't know anything about animals, and it bit my face to the point where they had to pull my cheek up and sew it back together in the ER. And then later, as an older child, I was standing in the front porch calling my brother home, and he was running in between the houses to get to from the circle and in between some other neighbor yards. And I watched him, and a dog was tied up to a tether, and it ran out and it reached him and it grabbed hold mid run his calf, and an ambulance came and took him away. So how did you know that, Dr. Moore?
But that's
That
what our brains do. That brain, so it could be a very innocent dog that wasn't, an attacking dog. Could have been very nice, docile dog, but your brain goes like, oh, all dogs are dangerous, and it gives you that story, and then that creates an emotion whenever a dog enters your visual space or your environment.
this dog was charging us. I tell you, I'm not making that
Yeah,
part.
that one, anybody would react. But a nice, innocent dog that's not charging
I
anybody
am very cautious around animals.
could trigger
We've
someone in
had
your
dogs.
situation
That's
because your
true.
brain is now running that story
That's
and
true.
giving you that filter, telling you to look at all dogs that way.
Yeah.
And most other people who didn't have those experiences are going to think dogs are a lot safer than you will.
Yeah.
Now, they still could get bitten by a dog, but a lot of times they'll approach a dog thinking it's probably going to be okay, and maybe they get surprised every once in a while, but
Right.
they won't have that
And I am a
filter.
bit more cautious. And we have a cat right now, but we've had lots of dogs, and I love animals, and I'm pro animal. I just, yeah, I did have some experiences. All right. Whew, that was a whopper of a tip, Dr. Mort. We are going to go to, it's not a commercial, but it is about a cause. And so our goal here is to inspire time, treasure, or talent, and inspire your heart or someone out there listening to do something good, to find a cause they might need, spread some awareness about one, type in the chat the one you love. Remember, you have one close to your own heart, and go find out what they need, because life has just been busy and you haven't been knocking at their door lately to see how you could help. But right now, we're going to find out from our amazing guests the causes that they care about and that are close to their heart. David, do you have a cause for us?
I do. There's an organization I've been working with for the last couple of years called Frequency, and we bring together conscious wealth stewards and people working on big world-changing projects with our mission to envision, fund, and implement the world we all want to leave for our kids. So it's we're just bringing together all people with like really rooted in a deep spiritual practice to who are working on big world-changing problems and trying to pair them with people with resources to help them take these to the world and accomplish them. So
That's funny because
it's
I
really
know several other joy and happiness coaches that I was thinking I should connect you with. So that's
Please
totally
do.
funny that you said that. I love that cause. All right, Dr. Mort, how about you? You got a cause that you care about?
Yeah, I have my own nonprofit organization that I've had since 1982, and it's called the Health Resource Network. And since 1992, we've been sponsoring National Stress Awareness Month every April in the U.S. And it's just an umbrella thing. It's an opportunity for anybody who's in the health field or who works with people around stress and things like that to put out whatever knowledge and information they want to do. I create the umbrella for the month, and then anybody who wants to can use it and put out a promotion, do an event, have an educational opportunity for people to engage in or promote whatever they want to promote. I don't micromanage it or anything like that, but I just create the opportunity for the month, and every year hundreds of people and groups take advantage of it, and I get all the press releases when they come out as to what they're doing. It's kind of fun to watch that happen.
That's very cool. Yeah, I've heard about the ability to, before you launch your own nonprofit officially, to be able to use like the umbrella, be in an umbrella kind of nonprofit, I guess, tool. It's a way for people to do that more quickly.
Well, the nonprofit is an legal entity, but
right.
I was saying we create this month to celebrate National Stress Awareness, and that's like an umbrella that anybody can come under that and adopt that month as their slogan or whatever they want to promote.
Sure.
I'm doing this as part of national. In fact, one year Ellen DeGeneres talked about it, did a little comedy bit on her TV show when she had it about National Stress Awareness, and she made fun of it. But it was cool that she acknowledged it.
No, that is, I mean, I love all the National Day ofs and all those things. That's funny. All right. We're going to go to books. David, a book that inspired your personal life or helps you grow your business.
One of the first books that really touched me in this way was called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I'm sure lots of people have recommended it here, just for how much it kind of empowers you to really realize that you get to choose what your life is going to be like. And with some simple guidelines on how to do that. So much so I actually tattooed it on my arm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
got a reminder of it.
That is definitely a testimony right there. Non-removable.
It's just good guiding principle.
Difficult to remove, I guess. Oh, awesome. How about you, Dr. Mort? A book that inspired
you? One of the books I really like came out a couple, maybe 5-7 years ago, called How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Feldman Barrett, and she's a brain researcher in Boston. And it's a kind of you have to be kind of science oriented and brain science oriented to enjoy it. But what she's done in her lab is she looked at all the various studies that people have drawn conclusions about how emotions are generated by the brain, and found out that a lot of the brain experts who have popular theories were mistaken in their interpretation of a lot of their research.
The Big Bang, man. It's the big brain. The Big Bang, the big brain.
And she's come up with some really leading edge concepts of how the brain creates emotions that I think are really cool. And my experience is like reading. It's like reading what if you had an Einstein of emotions who kind of stepped on the stage like Einstein did and said, "Hey, all you experts, you think it's this way. Well, it's not. It's really this way," and turned out to be right. That was the experience I had, reading this book, because she was pointing out all these things that people have been saying for years about emotions that the research doesn't really support when you actually look at it in the correct way, or do further research in other ways. You discover that those concepts were mistaken. And so, and these are some of the leading emotions experts and brain
Hey,
researchers in the world,
and I watched The Big Bang. It's Sheldon and the string theory. I get it. I'm down. David, before we go back to Dr. Morton, talk about his 26 books. Okay, don't panic. Not all 26. We're not going to cover all those today. Don't panic. But I would like to talk to you a bit more about your school community and this community you're building. I'm building a legacy gratitude community that we launched off of our Legacy Gratitude Summit. And it meets 2 Tuesdays a month. Shameless commercial for myself. The second and the fourth, and it's free. It's a mastermind and networking. And if you want to talk about creating lifelong legacy now and for hundreds of years to come to inspire others and build generational wealth, well, you should come hang out with us. But David's community is rocking too. So let's hear all about yours.
Beautiful. It's, a lot of the stuff I've already been talking about. It's a space for people to get to know themselves better, to learn how to make magic in their lives. I've been, in the coaching space. I did a long time coaching men's groups and doing that whole thing as well. So I've got a whole curriculum for self-mastery and also a lot of stuff around relationships and spirituality and just learning to master this and this so that we can go and create what we want in the world.
Is it focused for men or is it men and women?
Men and women. I started in men's work, but as I've got more into somatic therapy and more of the relationships and spirituality, a lot more of the kind of feminine side of things, I've been working with a lot more women over the last few years, and now it's a space to come together of uniting masculine and feminine, talking about what that even means, and having a space to connect with other people that are on this journey as well of learning about spirituality, but learning how to incorporate it into your business, into your life, into your relationships, and use all of these things that life is bringing towards you as teachers, and learning to learn the lessons that the spirit's trying to teach you so that you can grow, so you can evolve, so you can create more of what you want in your life. And there's drop-in coaching, there's breath work, there's all sorts of drop-in classes within the community that people can partake in, and again, just to connect with other people that are on this journey as well, because it's often the case that when people first start to get into spirituality and personal development and all these things, it can be a bit of a lonely path, because if your friends aren't into it, you don't have people you can relate to and talk to about these things you're going through. So it's a space for people to come together around this and lift each other up.
Very cool. And the name of the community again is called?
Is Magic Makers. So it's
Magic
school.com, SK Magic Makers, indeed. School.com with a K, and then Magic Makers, all one word. So.
Yeah, and I was going to say it's a platform for lots of learning communities. Not everyone knows about it, but it is called School, and it's SKOOL. And you would go to that platform or that app, and then you would look up Magic Makers, and you would find David and all his amazing community and friends there. So,
exactly.
Dr. Mort, are we going to go ahead?
Just to plug School for a second, there's a lot of amazing communities on there.
Oh, yeah.
So once you get in, you can search. There's all sorts of different interest groups and skills you can learn. It's a really cool community platform. So.
Yeah, it's a neat place to be. I'm in a couple of groups myself, so I'll definitely be coming around to check out yours, David. And Dr. Mort, are all your books on Amazon, or tell us which ones are we going to highlight? What's the
most of them are on Amazon, and they're about different aspects of dealing with stress, and also several on anger. My best book on anger is my most recent one on anger. It's called Dr. Orman's Life-Changing Anger Cure. And it's a book that my goal is to get that book into the educational system, into middle school, into high school, homeschool, anybody that wants to have a massive transformation in their understanding of human emotions in general and anger in particular. That's what I want to do with that book as a vehicle to get that knowledge out there in the world.
It's fascinating. Have you done one for children to help children learn how to deal with and process?
I have not done a book for them, but I've worked with children as young as 8 years old to teach them how to understand how their brain creates anger, and they get it right away. It's not complicated. It's just, it's not mysterious. It's invisible. We don't see it. We don't see what their brain does, but so it's simple for people to understand. Yeah, but I think the appropriate level will be like middle school and high school.
Mhm.
For sure.
That's really cool. I'm working in collaboration with an AI community that is actually a community of like 53 plus tools. And in addition, they also have, because the president put out an order for K through 12 to address education with AI. And they built and you'll love this, David, a Magic Kids tool that is it's called Magic Kids, and in it has all tutor based, so they're all not giving answers but tutor teaching all these different things, everything from the basic subjects you would imagine, but they also have emotional health. They have public speaking, they have entrepreneurship, they have critical thinking, they have, music and art and all these other beautiful things that they're teaching in there. And I think that there may be a great collaboration with you and that community. So I'll have to connect you guys if you're,
Please do.
yeah, if you guys are open to that, because
Definitely open to that.
they're growing. They're 40,000 subscribers at this point, but that's a good sized community to get some of, things out there into the world, because the world is changing and we need to infuse the changes with as much positivity as possible. I mean, when the radio waves first came to the country and everyone was a little bit spooked, and I don't know if we should have a radio in our house and what is going to be coming out of that box. And, it was about getting as many positive sound bites out of that box and into the world as possible, because all things can, the newspaper and printing and the website and the internet, it all can be used for the power of good or not. And so we want.
Jessica, my father was in World War II. He was in the Army World War II, and he was stationed in India, and he became a radar technician. And when the war ended and he came back home, he got an offer to get involved in the television industry, which was just getting off the ground because of his radar background, electronics background. And he passed on it because he figured it was just going to be a passing fad. It wasn't going to turn out to be anything. And he ended up working for a furniture store and then got his own business. But he misread the tea leaves there, I think.
Yeah, you just my thing is, when something new comes, embrace it in a way and discern how can an army of us with good hearts and good missions and good passions and good modalities infuse and take it over and be the heavy and hopefully keep out anything that isn't positive and enhancing the world to be a better place. So, that's my mission, for us to shine the light in all the areas. It has been fantastic. I don't know about you guys, but I think this has been a rockin' show. I've really enjoyed having both of you here, and I think it's just such a brilliant combination. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I'd love to give you both an opportunity to give a final thought and some inspiration or information as we close. Dr. Mort, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I think the most important thing I want to pass on to people is that don't buy into the myth that if you're having anger issues, or if you've been angry even all your life, that you're just stuck with being that way, that you're always going to be that way, because it's not true. If you get the right understanding, the right insights, you definitely can get rid of a lot of the destructive anger that might happen. And the other thing is, a lot of people, I would say, don't wait. If you're in a relationship and you fear that your anger might be causing damage to the relationship, don't wait till you get the ultimatum, because by that time, sometimes the other person has already closed their heart. And no matter what you do, no matter how much improvement you make, they're not going to, get back into the relationship. They're not going to trust that it's going to last. So I see so many people that wait too long before they come to me, and I can help them, maybe for their next relationship. But if the other person that they're with has really closed down and, just won't consider anything, then you've waited too long. So if you know you have an anger issue and you don't want it to damage your relationship, that's the best time to come.
Don't wait, to act now. How about you, David? A final thought for us?
Yeah, thank you. I would say that from my lens, like what I believe about life is that we're here to be in more connection with spirit.
Mm,
And the main places that I see that, like the path to that, is connecting through ourselves, getting to know
mhm,
ourselves better, going deep, connecting with our hearts, with our gut, with our intuition,
mhm,
connecting with others through relationships, romantic friendships, like being in communion and connection with people, and through nature. So spending time outside in the wilderness, in the ocean. I'm blessed to live in Nosara, Costa Rica, so I get to play in the ocean
Mm.
almost every day and walk barefoot on the ground. And just having that connection with nature helps me stay connected to spirit and be able to serve at the highest level. So just do more of those things, get more in connection with yourself, spend time with other people, and let your guard down, be vulnerable, and spend lots of time in nature as much as possible.
I love that. Hey, everybody out
Mm.
there. I am your host, Jessica Koch. This has been another Profound Professionals. I thank you all for watching, sharing, liking, commenting, giving us your thoughts, and sharing the things you care about. And until next time, everybody out there, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye.